What is up, everybody? Shawn here with Revv. I get a lot of questions about the difference between the two clean sounds of the G20 and the D20 amplifiers. Both clean sounds are really nice, but they are different. The fact that both of these have the same exact power section, the 6v6 driven power section, makes them very similar, but the clean front end is definitely different. They both take pedals really well. They both feel good, but they do feel slightly different. And it really boils down to personal preference. So what I thought I would do is I've got these set up so I can switch between them on the fly. I'm running straight into my cabinet I have in another room. It's a 2x12 cabinet loaded with Celly V30s, and I'm using my usual Royer 121 and 57 microphone combo. I've got both power amps, or I should say master volumes, all the way up, so there won't be any differences there. I just want to keep them wide open and let you guys hear them that way. And I'm basically just going to switch back and forth and let you guys hear what's going on. And then I'll also turn on the the G2 pedal. I've got it dialed fairly nondescript so that you can just hear how these amps respond to it. I'll leave it alone. I won't change any settings. I'll just run it into the 2 amps so you can hear how they're responding to the input of, say, an overdrive or distortion pedal. So let's start with the D20, and then we'll switch to the G20. So I've got it dialed up so that it's relatively clean. Now, if that's on a neck position pickup on a Stratocaster, if I go to like a humbucker in the back, this is a single hum guitar, it'll break up a little bit more. Now let's switch straight to the G20. Now right away it's cleaner and it seems like it's softer in volume, but you have to keep in mind that the G20 does have a wide switch, so check it out. Straight back to the D20. G20. D20. So they're pretty similar sonically, but there are differences. The D20, which is one thing you're not going to hear, is the D20 feels a little bit softer. It has a little bit more of a compressed feel to it. The G20 is a little bit faster in attack. It's a little bit less forgiving. It does have a little bit more chimey top end due to that wide switch, but also keep in mind chimey top ends sometimes can have an effect on how your overdrive pedals sound, or distortion pedals and what have you. Now, obviously, I don't have any control over the actual input to the G20 as far as a gain control, whereas on the D20, I do. But I'm not gonna mess with that. I've got them dialed pretty close in how they respond. D20, G20. So I've got those dialed really close. That's the comparison of just the two cleans. They both sound beautiful. They just sound a little bit different. This one maybe a little bit less mid there. Of course, I can just turn the mids up, but I don't want to do that for the sake of comparison. So let's do this. Let's just listen really quick to the G2 into the D20, and then we'll listen to it without changing anything into the G20. So here's the D20 clean. Breaks up when you hit it with a humbucker. Here's the G2 with it. Now we'll switch straight to the G20, change nothing on the G2. So I'll stay on this pickup, go back to the D20. Back to the G20. D20. So both take pedals, or obviously this pedal, but I can attest that both of these amps take pedals really well. They do sound similar. This amp's got a little bit more bark in the mids that could be changed via the mid control. This amp has a little bit less bark in the mids, which could be changed by the mid control. But I'm trying to just keep it as static as possible between the two amps. Now, where the D20 will have an advantage is you can start dialing this pretty much to, have other characteristics in the way it breaks up. I can start turning up the gain at the front and have it break up. Now, with the G20, I'm pretty much set here. I've got the volume all the way up, and I can't increase any more at the front end without using a pedal because there is no essential gain control for the clean channel. So that's about all I can get as far as breaking up the clean. But that being said, this amp is a 2-channel amp, so it was designed to be very clean on the clean side and then give you that second channel for all that gain. But just for the sake of comparison, I can break up the D20 without going into the crunch section over the G20. So that's the difference between the two. I think both amps sound great as clean amps. Both amps take pedals well. This one a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit chimier in the clean. This one has a little bit more compression. It can definitely get a little bit fatter. If you do want it to break up more, then you do have that control. So it's really to each his own. If you're just a die-hard pedal guy and you're really not concerned with having an actual channel gain, from an amp head, maybe look more towards the D20. But if you do like having channel gain and you do like using boost pedals and things like that into that channel gain, as well as having a really nice clean, then maybe the G20 is a candidate for you. So as always, I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel, and we will see you next time.